It's like I'm walking on sunshine.
All right, ladies and wait a minute. Don't you step on my business.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, this is me, man. You were number 40. I'm 41. My name's Charlie McGrath. I am the co-founder of Doomcast, Doomcast.com. My co-founder and friend Doug Owen is with me. He tried to steal my thunder.
Sorry about that. My bad.
Right, that's all right. Welcome to Doomcast number 41. It is the 15th day of May 2014, and we are one day late, Doug. We're one day late.
Day late, dollar short.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
What happened to you? What happened to your Wednesday evening?
China happened, my friend. China. I got China.
Oh, the Chinaman.
Something Wong.
I'm telling you, I got a horror story that is chit-chat, and we're going to get into it because, frankly, I don't care. You know what? This is my favorite hour of the week, and it is my therapy as much as it is the doomers out there who tune in. And, I want to thank all the doomers who have been tuning in and giving us great numbers on YouTube downloads and all the other venues that you can listen to it. Namely, if you want to find it every week, you can go to Doomcast.com. It's posted there every week in multiple different forms. But I do want to say real quick, thanks to the people who are sending in material for Doomcast.com. And, Doug, I didn't get to mention this last week, or I forgot to, I should say. If you have, who do we have up there now? I posted a couple tonight, cooking videos. Who's that guy? What's his name?
That's Tuna Melts.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so if you have something that you want posted somewhere on a website, right, and have some promotion behind it, have a few eyeballs look at it, send it to Doug, to Doug at Blacklist, excuse me, let's say it again so it's clear, Doug at blacklistednews.com or info at wideawakenews.com. Either one of those addresses. Label in the subject Doomcast. Just put that in there, and we'll post it on Doomcast.com. We have cooking videos up there. Craig Simpson puts stuff up there. Doug Owen puts up. I put stuff up there. But if you're listening to the program and you have, I don't care what it is. If you write an article, a doomy article, or you shoot a video and you want it posted someplace that people are going to see it, Doomcast. You can send it to us, and we'll post it up at Doomcast.com. The only thing I ask is, if you make a video that you somehow plug Doomcast. Now, if it's a good video and you're plugging Doomcast, not only will we post it at Doomcast.com, I'll post it at my channel on YouTube and, just to get us some more traction. And if it's really good, I'll send it to Jeff Rents. I'll send it to all these other alt sites, and we'll post it up there as well. So that is the project for the folks out there. If you have something that is doomy, I don't care if it's a recipe, if you're cooking flapjacks, if you're tending your garden.
We have to define doomy. I see more people in the chat room saying, well, I'm not going to listen to that. That doesn't sound very empowering. I don't know what people need. They need
what does that mean? What does that mean?
People want something
what
that's
do you want me to say? You want me to say, you want me to tell you about the time I got my belly cut open by a buck hunting knife? Because that happened.
That's not empowering either. That's impaling.
My bad. Definition.
If you go to the right side of the website, Doomer Essentials, there's two things there: the Foxfire book series and Doomer Mind, Beginner's Mind.
What does that mean? I'm not empowering. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to rant a little.
I don't know what that means.
What the hell does that mean? Oh, this isn't empowering. What do you want me to do? You want me?
They want Tony Robbins. They want a motivational speaker.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Listen. Don't leave yet. Don't leave the Doomcast room. I want to motivate you a little bit here. You are good enough. You're smart enough. You're doomy enough. You're doing a good job. You're very much involved in this program, in this process. I need you to hang out. I need you to believe in yourself. I mean, what are we doing here, Doug? I mean, are we trying to motivate people into a better frame of mind, or are we trying to enlighten the world on the doomy nature of current events?
I don't know.
Tell me.
I don't know.
I don't think we know what we're doing.
We define the philosophy. Actually, our great producer Craig Simpson has done that for us. So
he did, and I shot a video of it. That's a great point. The Doomer philosophy, and
it makes sense. It's an evergreen that people need to revisit from time to time. I just want to plug it.
I need to, because I'm in a foul sort of mood tonight. I am, and I apologize.
Okay, so what happened in China
that
made you so upset?
I'm going to tell you what happened in China. And I apologize to anybody who's listening in chat right now that I might have just offended. Tongue-in-cheek apologize. I mean, this is my funnest hour of the week. And so, which tells you what kind of doom-filled life I'm living. This is the hour I look forward to get it all off my chest with my good friend Doug Owen here. But and China, and this is a macrocosm, maybe, right? This is our world.
The big picture.
The big picture. But I'm going to break you down a little story here about China and dealing with China and how in my program last hour, which Craig Simpson was great enough, I had a cancellation last minute, and Craig Simpson, Karen Tostado joined me for Wide Awake News Radio, and we had a nice conversation about population densities on the planet. But the model, which is we have in power, in control, in charge of our life, a bunch of lying scumbag politicians that will say and do anything to maintain that power, regardless if it's the truth or not. And they're really serving the interest of a bunch of people who take pieces of paper and change it into other pieces of paper, absolutely contributing nothing to humanity.
Money changers.
Yeah, money changers. Jesus flipped their tables over. He had a name. He whipped them.
Yeah,
like dogs that they are, and whipped that they deserve.
And the taxmen.
Indeed. And this is our model. This is our model of an economy where we have people sitting in positions of power that are beyond wealthy. We can't even fathom the wealth involved.
Subjugators.
These Lloyd Blankfein types that just ooze wealth, right? And what do they do for it, Doug? What do they do to get? What do they provide to humanity? What do they give back to humanity?
Debt.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we end up with what Ross Perot called the great sucking sound.
That's what motivates a lot of people, being in debt.
Yeah, well, great, because more people are there than were in 2007. More people are in credit card debt. We have $1 trillion in student loan debt. Everywhere you turn is another debt that keeps breaking new records. So we as a nation, as a people, have bought into it wholeheartedly. And what do we have? I had a caller from Minnesota tonight, Rob, 60 years old, Midwest, blue-collar job that paid $25 an hour 10 years ago. Same job today pays him $11 an hour. This whole great model of we're going to advance as a society to the point where we would have more time of leisure, more time to spend with our family. It's all been corrupted and turned into this putrid cesspool where you have, multiple people in the household. If they can find a job that's decent, they're working longer hours. If they can't find a decent job, they're working multiple jobs that are crap so they can stay further and further into debt, so they can just keep their credit score. We got to keep it above 500. We got to keep it above 600. It's this perpetuation of a lie, right? That we're somehow going to get better if we keep doing the same thing over and over again. And, it really came home to roost to me over the last year in particular, because I've been in development of a product that is completely offshore. And by offshore, I'm going to use the corporate catchphrases. We have Pacific Rim partners. It's crap. We have Pacific Rim.
I like the term.
Yeah, Pacific Rim partners.
Sounds nice. It sounds like there's a vacation or something over there. We're going to hang out.
It sounds gentle, doesn't it? Yeah. It sounds cozy, right? Until you go over there and you realize these people are living in squalor. They're living in mud huts, and we're literally stealing their labor, stealing their life's force, so that we can get cheap crap to sell at Walmart or Kmart or some other mart, or cheap crap that we can nail onto the side of our house. And at the same time, we rationalize this. Charlie McGrath, rationalize this is, there's 100 people that work at the company I work at, and they have a job because I'm doing this. And it's rationalization to myself. That's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to pacify me.
You think about it this way. Doing business over there allows you to not have to pay as many corporate taxes as you would over here. And I don't like paying taxes, so there's something to be said for that. You're not contributing to the...
That's bullcrap. It's a smokescreen.
Okay.
You know what? I'm happy.
I was trying to put a positive, empowering spin on that.
No, that's why I love you. That's why you're number two on my list of human beings that I love. I know I'm somewhere around the top 20 on yours, but you're still way up there on mine because you're always trying to empower me with positive thinking, which is a very Tony Robbins thing to do. So before you leave the chat room, hang out, because Doug Owen will talk in a minute, and you're going to feel a whole lot better about yourself, because I know I already do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it is crap, because the product that I'm having made, there's no reason I can't get it made here, right? And it's basic.
And why is that?
Well, all right, that's a good point. Good question. It's basic textile 101. It's a loom, it's a weaving machine, and it's minimal technology that to create this product. That's as far as I'm going into it. It's technology that we had in this nation 100 frickin' years ago. And 20 years ago, I could find 10 manufacturers that could make this product for me. In 2014, the age of enlightenment, the age of Lloyd Blankfein doing God's work, I can't find anybody in the borders of the United States of America to make this product for me. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Because they couldn't make it. Because everybody like me used an excuse of, well, I got to do this in order to keep up with the next guy, keep up with the competition. So we experienced the Ross Perot sucking sound, which was our labor, which is our ability to be a manufacturing superpower, go across to China and to India, to Vietnam, to fill in the blank, anywhere and everywhere but here, to Mexico. And we rationalize it and justify it. But here I sit at the behest and at the mercy of a foreign country, of China, which I know for a fact that I am just one of a number of nations that China is selling to. And I'm not very far away from being in the top 5, like I am with Doug Owen, to being at the bottom of the list. And geopolitical events could make that happen, actually instantaneously overnight. So rationalizing it and justifying it, I've been doing that for quite some time. But on this episode of Doomcast number 41, I'm coming clean. I'm telling you right now, the system is so screwed up. The ability to produce things in this country is so hampered and so neutered that I don't know if it's ever coming back without a massive shock to the people of this country. I mean, and what I'm talking about is something like China deciding they're going to shut off the spigot, no more free cheap labor, or they're going to shut off the debt that they keep consistently buying over and over again, no more perpetuity of being able to sell debt to the world. And then suddenly, Doug Owen, Charlie McGrath, everybody listening right now, experiences a shock to our system, to our way of life, and then we realize the mess that we have made. I'm a canary in the coal mine telling you, we are not an independent nation. We are behest and beholden to a bunch of people around this world who could give a crap about us, and we've been put there by the same people that are telling us that this is the way to the future. This globalization, this bringing everybody up to our level. But there was no plan in the works to bring the world up to our level. It was a plan to bring us down to everybody else's level, Doug Owen.
It's the high price of low costs, low wages, cheap products. People want it's the Walmartization of the world, really, right?
Yeah, that documentary was 100% correct. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, even if you want to buy products in the United States, and I think that's becoming more popular. You're hearing more and more businesses using that model, and people like you and I and most of the doomers out there that are supporting, spending $2 extra per iPhone or whatever it may be to get something that is environmentally decent and made in the United States, or at least not by slaves on another continent. So there's a definitely, I think, a backlash. If you look at what's happening geopolitically with Russia, if you were doing business maybe with some rocket company, all of a sudden, boom, you can't do business anymore. If something pops off with the Senkaku Islands, or possibly a skirmish between Japan and China, what happens to your business then, Charlie McGrath? What happens if your business gets sanctioned or gets put under sanctions? That could be something that I think a lot of doomers would say, well, that's great. That'll bring business back to the United States. And I often wonder if that's kind of why we're seeing this narrative playing out, where we have a time of mass globalization. Right before World War I, we had a time where there was massive international globalization, and all it took was the killing of the Kaiser to make the world refocus on itself and independence rather than interdependence. So, yeah, I don't know, my friend. You might not be doing business with China into the next decade.
Well, that's a great point, and that's what I'm trying to make. The self-reliant nation, the self-reliance that
but
are.
at what cost? At what cost?
Well, we don't have it. That's just it. We don't have it, and I don't know. I'm not.
I mean, that's the whole model, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
the whole idea of globalization, of the New World Order, is that everybody is so economically intertwined that we could not fathom war. We can't blow up. We can't attack China because they make everything. We can't go after said state, and because we're economically developing there. There's too much Rothschild money. There's too much investment in these mines or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and when it all goes to crap, when it all turns into a big steamy pile of crap because the system is flawed to begin with and because it's designed to eventually fail in order to consolidate power even more, we can blame it on said countries that we were trying to enlighten them and bring them into, we were trying to enlighten China and bring them up to this standard, and they screwed us over with Japan reclaiming some territory. So now we're going to go to war with them, and that's why your economy sucks. That's why we've been thrown back 75 years as far as standard of living.
Okay, so are we done with China? Do you want to? I don't.
Well,
know
I mean, the long and the short of the story is, millions of dollars worth of business that had been done with a partner that we thought, and I use the term partner, tongue in cheek, Pacific Rim partner.
Like a male partner.
Yeah, pa-ching.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know how you're using that term. When I hear partner, that's immediately what I think. Oh, okay.
I know you got excited, but I want you to calm down and just,
all right.
With our business partner.
Oh, okay.
That we've spent, millions of dollars and thought we had a business relationship, not unlike that, I would have if I spent millions of dollars with your, company that you work for, Doug. Are you
saying you got taken by the Chinaman?
I'm not saying I got taken.
Round eye, I got taken.
I'm not saying we were taken. I'm saying we were outright lied to, and therefore caused us to lie to our American customers that that have millions of dollars on the line. And it was just a straight up bold-faced lie. And it wasn't just your product's coming, you're going to have it in a week, and then find out a few days later it was never going to show up. It was a lie that was 6 months in the making, consistent 6 months of being lied to. This stuff's on its way. It's at the port. It's on a ship. It just passed South Korea. Now it's out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. No worries. And then at the last possible minute, which is kind of the way.
So do you have any kind of recourse? Can you go to, usually you have to work with the Chinese state government. Yeah. This is kind of fascism 101. Will the Chinese lean on the company and give you some kind of? No,
there's no.
So really, if you think about it, you might be getting your product a little bit cheaper, or as salesmen like to say, less inexpensive products, but you just never know if you're going to be able to actually deliver that product. It sounds kind of.
I can tell you, I know horror stories of individuals who try to get into. Look, in the building industry, and those of you listening who are in it understand where I'm coming from. A few years ago, it was drywall, and where it was this Chinese drywall that was rotting the pipes in your house. But the building industry, which is one of the last bastions of good-paying jobs in this country. It is now. I mean, it's crazy. Doug, I live in Bozeman, Montana, right? Mm-hmm. I live 400 miles from some of the most incredible cedar forests the world has to offer. Yet I can't buy a 6-foot cedar board to make a fence out of 400 miles away. I can't buy it for even double the price of what I can call China up for and order a container of it. I can ship it 12,000 miles. I can ship product from Canada or the United States to China, have it milled and brought back to me for half the price of what I could buy it from locally. It's utter insanity. But the problem...
That's only going to last for so long, though. I think that's a changing trend.
Amen.
Energy costs are going to be so out of the it's going to be so expensive. It's not going to be worth to do it anymore.
No, again, you're 100% right. It isn't going to last forever, and I think a lot of people are going to be have this OMG look on their face when it doesn't. When it does come crashing down, this little fantasy that the globalists have built, which is import everything, export labor, export manufacturing, and use slave labor around the world to achieve profit for corporate interest. Well, when it comes to a crashing in, we're going to realize how naked we really are, Doug Owen.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people in the Eurozone are catching on to this. I want Started out with a story you probably saw. David Cameron this week said, taxes will rise unless we can raid your bank accounts. Now, this is something that seems, I don't know, a little looming, kind of doomy. When somebody says, well, we're going to have to either raise your taxes or we're going to have to be able to raid your bank accounts, it's not really much of an option. But it really, yeah, it's a highlight of being a total subject to the crown. Taxes will have to rise unless officials are given new powers to raid people's bank accounts, according to David Cameron. I can't believe they're saying this shit. The Treasury Select Committee warned that allowing HM revenue and customs to remove cash, which is their IRS, basically, from bank accounts without court orders is very concerning because the history of mistakes. Yeah, it's called a bunch of elitists stealing money from the plebs. The committee said that taxpayers could suffer, quote, serious detriment if officials are able, either by mistake or through an abuse of power, to take money from people who have done no wrong. Cameron said yesterday, this came out Monday, or said rather, he claimed that the alternative was to put up taxes. He told Sky News, quote, we have a choice here. If we don't collect taxes properly and make sure people pay their taxes properly, we look at the problems of having to raise the tax rates. I love this idea. You're going to pay more, but, we'll go ahead and just be able to go into your bank account at the end of the year, and whatever our government auditor bureaucrat thinks you should pay, we'll just go ahead and snipe right out of there. So, this is the nightmare of the European people, and I think that they're starting to wake from their slumber and realize it. This is pretty crazy stuff, and it's about par for the course today. But, just one of the highlights of what's happening in Europe. So you talk about a doomed economy. When you talk about debt saturation and the inability to innovate their way or to, war their way out of these death grips, you have people like David Cameron, who is one of the four horsemen for the apocalypse, coming out with stuff like this, saying that we need to be here in this country. It will never happen because what would H&R Block do if the government just went right into your bank account, took your money, and did your taxes for you? We would lose millions of jobs in this country. So I don't think it's going to come across the pond. But
no, wait a minute. I guess I'm confused. I thought, from what I understood, it was if they deemed that you didn't pay enough in taxes, they could go in and just usurp your independence.
They want the right to go into your bank account. They want to restructure the legal system so that they can go into your bank account and take your taxes out. So whatever taxes you owe to their version of the IRS, rather than filing, see, that's what we do here. You basically tell them what you owe them, and you pay them. If they find a discrepancy, they audit you, and you go into hell. You go into a world of doom. So over there, it's very similar, but what they want is the power to just take it from your account. See, here they have to go through a legal framework. There, they just want to skip all of the middlemen and you and take the money.
Well, the IRS here can seize your accounts. They can levy liens against you. They can collect money through your employer. But you're right. They can't just do your taxes for you and then determine you owe money. They have to audit you in the first place.
Sorry, you have no money in your account, and I know you wanted to feed your children, but tough titty. Also, another new taxing mechanism, more desperation piled on in the Eurozone. Tracking cars for cash and subjugation. That's my headline. EU to bug every car in the UK with tracker chips. And ministers admit they are powerless to stop the Big Brother technology. Under EU plans, every car sold in the UK will have a black box device. The gadget contains a phone SIM card which tracks drivers' movements, designed to help emergency services find vehicles in the event of a crash. That always feels nice. They can find you right away. Government believes that this device will add at least 100 euros to the cost of cars. That's pretty cheap. I guess it's about, $200, $180, something like that. Officials also fear it could be used by police to monitor motorists and, of course, dissidents and anybody that hasn't paid their taxes or didn't have the money for their taxes. They could just turn your car off and bring you back to central headquarters whenever they feel the need. But, it's getting really, really bad over there. Man,
it's like what was the precog with Tom Cruise and the precog crime, and I can't remember the name of the movie.
Right.
But the vehicles would automatically track you, lock you down, read your eyeballs, read your retina, so it knew who you were, and lock you down if you were a wanted thug. Which it's getting to the point where anytime that you open your mouth, then and you're anti-establishment, you fall into that category as potential domestic terrorist. It does go along with the article that one of them I wanted to talk about tonight, where the Fourth Amendment no longer applies according to the Department of Justice. And you think that I shouldn't say that, because the Doomer audience, they understand that the NSA and the alphabet intelligence agencies are monitoring everything. They check everything. They listen to phone calls. They check every email you send out. But it is telling that now they're coming out saying, if you have the anticipation under the Fourth Amendment of privacy, well, if you're talking to somebody in a foreign country that's not an American citizen, you advocate your Fourth Amendment right. You no longer have it. So, Doug, if I'm talking to one of our Doomers in Canada, and that conversation is no longer what I'm saying to them is no longer protected under the Fourth Amendment because I just happen to be talking to somebody who's not an American. Did you see this article?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that's always been the way of the CIA operates, the NSA. They can basically...
It's immersion, though. It's immersion. It's Snowden coming out, letting us know these things are happening, and a little bit of shock and awe over it for a few minutes, and now it's just status quo. Nothing changed. It isn't getting any better. It's getting far, far worse, and it's going to continue to get worse. Just these little...
How so? I don't understand.
What do you mean? Nothing that Snowden had released as far as NSA wiretap. I mean, all this stuff was a shock, right? It even made the mainstream.
No. Was it?
Absolutely. For the mainstream, for a few minutes, it was like the story of the week.
Who was shocked by this? Dumb
Not
people?
me.
I was about to say dumb people that are out to lunch. Did the general public maybe was shocked by it? But I don't think most people
I think most people in the, you call it mainstream, I call it a sleep stream, that were, just going along, getting along. Everybody understands that the country isn't on the right course. So we've seen this growing realization over the last several years that things aren't on the right path, right? And if you're in a blue state or in a red state like Montana or Texas, it's just the Dems' fault. But there is
across the board. You look at almost all of these Pew and AP polls. People across the board, both sides of the political spectrum, left and right and center, are all saying that Congress, the Senate, the White House, overall the economy, everything, the hope for the future is pretty shitty overall. Only 10% of the people out there, and those are the complete idiots or retards that buy into what's happening, or and you're always going to find a certain percentage of the population that I think. If they don't buy it, then they're just, saying whatever they want to the pollster.
Yeah, no kidding. But, Owen, for 1 second, you don't believe that the majority, and I'm talking the majority of the people, the sheeple, the majority of the people, when Snowden came out with his revelations of the NSA, the wiretapping, the recording of everything, the majority of the people did not anticipate that was going on.
I don't know. I think people that were, sub 100 IQ probably thought that everything was hunky-dory, and the people that bought, into, the Saddam Hussein being bin Laden's best buddy and conducting 9/11 and weapons of mass destruction. I mean, those kind of people, they might just believe anything. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's say for the case of argument that you're right, and most people did. They weren't shocked by this. Okay.
They obviously weren't, because you don't see an outcry. You don't see millions of people in Washington D.C. rallying against this.
No, my point is kind of the opposite of that. That you did see a little bit of an outcry. You saw a blip on the radar when this information was released. You saw, the Foxes and the CNBCs and all these guys covering it for a very short period of time, and then it just kind of went away. And when it went away, promises from D.C. on both sides that, this is going to be now a topic that's going to be concern, and we're going to look at this. Nothing happened. Nothing got better. Nothing prevailed on the side of freedom and of individual personal rights to privacy. Nothing happened in order to benefit the people of the country, just a realization to the nation that this is occurring, and guess what? It's going to continue to occur.
You have encryption. That went up. Torrent Freak this week had a pretty great piece on the amount of encryption that has been reported and overall encrypted traffic on the internet. And there's a few different metrics by which they figure out how much traffic is now encrypted, but now more people are taking it into their own hands. I mean, because and maybe I'm just playing the contrarian here, but it's like, well, the government didn't do anything to stifle the government. The government didn't take any of their own power away, and I'm shocked by that. And it's like, well, I mean, what would you expect the government to do? Are you hoping that they would ever be honest and transparent with you?
Yes.
Because they never have been in the past. So that's not even. I think that is always
that's a great point. That's a great point. What would I expect the government to do?
Right.
I would expect the elected section of government, right, the representation aspect of government, to have an outcry, a demanding of a juggernaut, which is this security and this intelligence community that is a shadow government that truly it has been shown is the power in Washington, D.C. Because we're talking NSA and CIA and all these other guys. They're not government. They're not elected. They're not going to get thrown out. They're not going to have to worry about their next election season coming down the road. That isn't government. That is bureaucrat. That is bureaucracy, and that bureaucracy has now been shown to be the true power in Washington, D.C. because no heads rolled, nobody got fired, nobody's in prison, and no policy has changed in order to benefit freedom, in order to benefit privacy.
No. I mean, right now, hot topic of the day, the latest ruling about the FCC and net neutrality. But here's what might actually change some of the dynamic of statecraft and Big Brother mandatory. The State Department is refusing to deny that Israel is spying on the U.S., and FEINSTEIN, who has been a huge advocate of the NSA, which is primarily located in Tel Aviv, at least the apparatus of which, and some of it at GHCQ across the pond because they have just different laws. I mean, it's like offshoring business, offshoring data collection allows for...
Offshoring torture.
Right, exactly. Yeah, mm-hmm. So... this may be one of the X factors because it's not so much that the government cares. This is where people get lost on it, and I just want to reiterate. The government probably doesn't care what I'm saying. They might, if a bunch of keywords come up and I make contact with a handler and they need somebody to be a patsy for some operation, you might get
pressure cooker.
Yeah, you might get a recipe for some pressure cooker rice stuff or something, in the mail. Yeah. Hey, buy a pressure cooker. No,
he's a terrorist.
But the real scary thing, and this is what's completely being lost in the conversation, is that these agencies can spy on your representatives. They now have the pole position. They have an electronic dossier to be able to extort and to blackmail and compromise your elected leaders. So when you say, well, why hasn't Congress, why hasn't these 545 people that are our elected representatives in our third branch of government, which should be the most powerful, why aren't they saying anything? Why aren't they doing anything?
Because they're scared.
Well, they're all dirty. They're all dirty. And they know that the NSA or the CIA has the goods on them, and I'm sure they get pressure. They know that their Google searches can be used against them in the court of law, and that's why you have this
Ask
now.
Elliot Spitzer.
So, people think, well, it's about you. No, it's not about you or me. It's about them. It's about your government. So when you say government, I think that's the elected representatives maybe.
But that is supposed to be you, right? That is supposed to be you.
Well.
In representing you.
Yeah.
Okay. And that they have that level of control should be terrifying.
Should.
So it should, but it isn't.
Should, could, would. I think government is becoming more terrified of people. Mandatory smartphone kill switches become law in Minnesota. What is wrong with you, Minnesota? What is wrong with you? Yeah, so this is to make sure that whenever you're out at the protest and you're, tumbling or tweeting pictures of your firebombs and some of the stuff, or the police beating the hell out of passive
pepper spraying your eyeballs out of your head. You can't have that going on Twitter.
Yeah, you can't have that going on Twitter. So this is the creeping electronic fascism that really, really worries me. So you talk about the elected government or the representatives here. Governor Mark Dayton has signed the Internet Kill Switch bill here, or the kill switch for your phone, rather. After lawmakers passed it last week, the measure takes full effect July 2015, but advocates are hoping the wireless industry will make technology updates sooner. So Apple, I think, has a patent for this where they can geographically go to a certain area and turn off all of the cell phones. We saw the BART cops in L.A. or in the Bay Area Transit. I guess it's L.A. When they had those riots and Anonymous was orchestrating.
Was that Oakland?
I think it might have been Oakland.
Okay,
it's right there. It's on the left coast, somewhere on there.
Yeah. Oakland, San Francisco,
the Bay Area, whatever that encompasses. I guess that's all of that. But yeah, so they had that technology, and it's already in the police's hands, and we're finding out more and more of it, like the Stingray system. You talk about Snowden revelations. I think when it comes to the power and the secret databases and the technology that they're already using to, I mean, we heard about the eye in the sky over Oakland and all of that. That is more impactful than even the Snowden leaks, because maybe Snowden leaks have now gotten the EFF and a few other people that can confirm this and take it to court, and they can use these documents. I mean, it's.
And your Snowden theory is still
alive and well.
It's still alive. It's still under review. Yeah, and for those that weren't listening back there in Doomcast number, probably in the late teens, bring us up to speed on the Snowden theory.
Well, I just think that he's still working for the CIA, and he's been planted in Russia. It seems pretty advantageous to be there, and what he has done is he has brought a huge amount of attention to the United States and to Israel's electronic massive surveillance. So the theory goes here that you have people like FEINSTEIN that are part of the NSA, and the NSA and the CIA vie for budgets, the same budgets. And they're two different intelligence apparatus, CIA primarily being more U.S. and the NSA being more outsourced. So this story from NBC News, highlights that the State Department not saying that they're really, and this came out from Glenn Greenwald, one of the Snowden leaks this week, that actually Israel's security is paramount. So there is this divide between the NSA and the CIA. If you look at John Brennan, guy speaks Farsi. He spent a lot of time in the Middle East. He's probably a crypto Muslim, and I'm telling you, I mean, the guy, if you listen to him, he's very, very smart. He's part of the Council on Foreign Relations, that whole sect that are working for Fortune 500 companies. That's really what the CIA and a lot of those groups are really cut out to do. I mean, providing security for Fortune 500 companies in not friendly territories and making them friendly. By regime change. I mean, just ask
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the Kissinger plan. Whereas you have the NSA, you have Dianne Feinstein, who is part of the neocon clique. Her husband, is it Michael or Robert Kagan? I think it's Robert Kagan. His brother was one of the original PNAC members. The Project for a New American Century. So this interventionalist,
and wasn't he National Endowment for Democracy? I mean, one of the
Freedom House. I mean, the whole
who's destabilized and dethroned.
So but we broke down the whole narrative around Snowden, and the story itself, his backstory makes almost no sense. He came out of nowhere, immediately was this intelligence officer. He has no formal education. He
just handy with the computer.
Yeah, he's a high school dropout, low life. So, I mean, when you look at the story, you realize that it seems quite fabricated or somewhat fantastical. You can go back and listen to it in the archive, free of charge at Doomcast.com, by the way. But make it. I always think that the results, the proof is in the pudding, And
well, it hasn't been proven or disproven. Your theory is still sound, and until it is
spy
born.
versus spy. I mean, Vladimir Putin said it best when he was responding on that, and I thought that was kind of weird and staged. He had that call-in show, and Snowden calls in to Putin and asks him about, are you using technology, warrantless technology, against the Russian people, trying to hold him to account. And Putin said, and I paraphrase, let me talk to you, intelligence operator to intelligence operator, to, I was former KGB, you were former CIA, and this is the way the world works. And basically, he said, well, we just don't have the technology. I mean, the United States has great technology that we don't have. And it's true. I mean, they're living in 1985, and they've got plenty of high-tech weaponry, but when it comes down to the ability, the budgets that are,
they had a decade amiss that we didn't. That we were developing
these
technology.
Guys, I mean, have you seen the Russian iPad? I mean, the Russians, they have a lot of the same technology that we have, but it's it's
not quite there yet.
Yeah,
they make good guns though.
They do make good guns, and they've got lots of people, and they've got lots of camouflage and APCs and missiles and weapons.
We're seeing them, and we're going to see more and more and more of them. The Ukraine Russia situation, Doug Owen.
Yeah, I got a few more things here in the Euro Doom, though. One of which I want to mention. Of course, you heard about Joe Biden's son. He's now joining the board of the largest Ukrainian gas producer.
Well, what?
Yeah, a little bit too soon, maybe. Our Hunter Biden will be in charge of the holdings legal unit and will provide support for the company among international organizations. On his new appointment, he commented, quote, Burisma track record of innovations and industry leadership in the field of natural gas means that it can be a strong driver for the Ukrainian economy, and that's what they need to pay back those IMF/US.
Well, they better think about paying off. They better think about paying off Putin first, or they're going to have a really, really cold winter.
It's going to be cold. They have the deadline with Gazprom. Gazprom hasn't been sanctioned yet, but things are getting kind of ugly over there. I mean, you have. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't want to glance over the smoking Joe Biden, smiling Joe Biden's son.
State Department says it's okay. There's no conflict of interest.
Oh well, let's move on. I didn't realize the State Department cleared it.
Yes, they have cleared it. Jay Carney says it's okay.
Carney says it's okay, and that the referendums are no good. I'm on board.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same people that have been there that were working with the last guy, Yuri Boyko, an ethnic Ukrainian and former energy minister under the ousted president Viktor Yanukovych, told CNBC that he has met with senior executives from Chevron.
Cha-ching!
Where's my ding? There. Royal Dutch Shell, ExxonMobil, and of course Halliburton.
That deserves 2.
Okay. 2. So, so that's an interesting,
you get it, people. You get it. Here's the thing, and this is a mini rant coming here, Doug. Sorry, but
okay.
Do you understand it? Because the as we argued here a few weeks ago, the boots on the ground in Poland, that is not window dressing. That is not just an exercise in building relations. That is there to ensure profitability for a bunch of corporations that facilitated the overthrow of an elected Ukraine government. Not saying that there isn't corruption there, but is a whole lot more democratically elected than what you have there now, which is a bunch of neo-Nazis who've been put in place by the West, who promised to bring nothing but destabilization. But again,
I think it's better than what you're going to get now. I'm pretty sure of that. It might not have been very representative, and these people just kept. I don't know. I mean, you have the same kind of aristocrat, royal class here in the U.S. I mean, look at the Clintons. I mean, that's a dynasty the Bush-Clinton dynasty that just won't go away. So when you look at Yulia Yanukovych over here, just kind of,
or even Putin, the Putin dynasty. He's been around. He's
Oh yeah, well, whenever it's time for him to leave, he'll find a new position and a new puppet and some other guy to put there, and he'll be the viceroy, prime minister or something.
The viceroy
to the
to the evil emperor.
Exactly. It's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, because he can't hold it for more than 2 terms in a row.
See, that's the thing. I mean, I always laugh because people are like, I heard that Obama's going to make himself the emperor and he's not going to leave, and he's been changing the Constitution to allow him to be there forever.
Crap.
And you always hear that every year, because there's one guy that runs a bill that says, let's extend the term limits. And my point being that in Russia, that shit's for real. People really will stay in power forever. I'm the new czar of oil. Okay. Sure. So I think that's the problem that they have, and that is the legitimacy aspect to what they're doing. Not in Crimea or in the Ukraine and what's devolving there, but.
You mean Russia?
Yeah, I mean I think.
Well, we got the same thing here. See, we're more refined here, right? We'll take this figurehead, be it a Bush or an Obama, and we'll unplug him and plug another one in there. But the true power doesn't change.
Central banker would not be denied.
The absolute best clip you've ever cut out, right there.
Central banker will not be denied. It really sums up what's happening there. I mean, the IMF are the central bankers, the loaners,
Yep.
So what's happening in the Ukraine? I've got a lot of other Ukraine.
Yeah,
notes,
the Ukraine. Look, we're not going to glance over it because. We talked a little bit about the corrupt government. Now we talked about Joe Biden, Smoking Joe's kid, who's going to become a multimillionaire as these corporations. These corporations line up to usurp the natural resources of the people of Ukraine. That obviously is happening on the forefront.
Fracking the F out of it.
But the whole Crimea, Ukraine, Russia, Europe sitch, it isn't over. It isn't over. And this is not me being an alarmist. You might think it is. But I promise you this, it is going to get a lot more bloodier and a lot more ugly, and there's going to be a lot more tension coming our way through the summer months with the nation of Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it.
You want to jump to Nigeria? You want a funny bit here that I found that will put things in context here. I'm going
to just sit back and feed off of the awesomeness that is your news presentation. Go.
Well, dang it. I was trying to use you to buy some time here, so I've got a clip here. So you'll like this. Here we go. I've got it already. Right. This should bring everything to a halt. I say that, and now it will do this.
The final vote counts show Clay Aiken won the 2nd Congressional District Democratic primary by just a couple of hundred votes. And this comes as we're learning that Keith Crisco was planning to concede today until the tragic fall that took his life yesterday.
Sources say Crisco had his campaign drawing up a concession speech because he knew he would not have enough votes. He had planned to call Clay Aiken this morning. This afternoon, we're also learning new information about his sudden death. One of his close friends told our partners at WTVD in Raleigh that Crisco slipped on a rug outside his Asheboro home and hit his head on a brick.
Clay Aiken, former American Idol, killed his opponent, and now he is in politics.
Oh, wait a minute.
He assassinated his opponent, obviously, here. I mean,
Crisco slid. Crisco slipped.
Yes.
And hit his head on a brick.
He hit his head on a brick as he was going to concede to Clay Aiken. He's like, there's just nothing to live for anymore. Clay Aiken from American Idol is beating me out of my damn seat here in North Carolina or wherever the hell they are in Raleigh, I think.
God. We live in such an...
But how could... I mean, number one, it's pretty funny you have Clay Aiken. He's now a politician. People actually voting for him. But now he's murdering his competition. So this guy's...
Murder.
He's headed towards the top of the chain here.
And the Crisco slid. It was a little slick for Crisco, so he slid and hit his head on a brick.
Double entendre time.
Craziness.
Yeah, so I saw that, and it made my eyes kind of go...
That is doom all over it. Clay Aiken as a representative, that's doomy enough. Crisco slipping and hitting the brick, that's doomy.
Yeah.
The plight of the nation is no doubt square in the sights of a massive doom storm.
And you and I would be remiss if we didn't cover this very important story.
Cardinal Sean O'Malley upset about a black mass being held tonight at Harvard. No shortage of public outcry over this, but the school says it's freedom of speech. And now the event, we can tell you just a short time ago, they've decided to move it off campus. But at this hour, the group is not saying exactly where they will hold it. Our John Monahan explains.
The Harvard Extension School Cultural Studies Club has decided to move the Black Mass set to take place at Memorial Hall off campus. The move because the group says it is due to the grave misinterpretations about the nature of the event. Harvard's President Drew Faust said earlier in a statement that she found the event abhorrent. But in the name of discourse, she said it would be against the spirit of Harvard to censor the Black Mass. However, Cardinal Sean has condemned the event, as many Catholics have.
Why people would want to do something that is so offensive to so many people in the community, whether they're Catholic or not. It's very repugnant.
Harvard senior...
Like raping children there, Cardinal? I don't know.
Maybe.
Just saying.
Altar boy.
So, yeah, did you hear about this, Harvard, the Black Mass?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they're moving it. They're not getting rid of it, Doug Owen.
No.
33, brother. They're not getting rid of it.
No, what are they doing with it?
They're going to move it off campus. They're just going to, hush it up and keep doing it. They're going to keep having the club.
I say take it to Yale. That's where that would be embraced. Skull and Bones, 322.
They could join forces and take over the world. Maybe. Wait, what? They did.
So that's happening. It's just funny to me that so many people are like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, do you know all of the other evil stuff that's happening at Harvard? That's probably way, way, way more sinister than a Black Mass. Not that I'm a supporter of the Black Mass, but I just like things that rile up people. All of these faux Christians get upset about it. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Oh,
it is, gladiator games. It is opiate, whatever you want to call it. These little shocking things that they're presented as news,
right?
And are completely and utterly meaningless. But yet we're gonna gin up a little hostility for it. But it's all part of the game. Be mad at your neighbor, because if you're mad at your neighbor, you won't notice me robbing the crap out of you. I want to thank. I'm looking at the clock here. We're 56 minutes into it.
Oh, we're gonna have to go over a little bit. We
can go over. That's fine. Okay. But before we go over, I'm gonna thank the old Craig Simpson with his crazy $3.33 donation. Thank you, Craig Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
We can give his whole name, right?
He does on the website, so I don't think
he's the producer. We got to give his name. Craig Simpson, $3.33. Give it to the cause in more ways than one. Thank you, Craig Simpson. And then we have a superstar, Doug Owen. Superstar. Michael G.
In Illinois.
Michael G. in Papa, Illinois. We could say the name, right?
Yeah.
Papa.
He's got to be one of many Michaels. Michael's a pretty common name.
Michael G. in Papa, Illinois, unless it's, like 50 people.
Papa.
I don't know how to say it. This is what I do know how to say, $200, because that's what he gave. He gave 100 to each two different locations.
He didn't trust you.
I guess he didn't trust me to divvy it up. But now he's gonna.
Yeah, now I can hold. Well, I can hold your feet to the fire. You don't have to. We've already been split here.
Well, I guess it's a test of my honesty. I tell you every time one shows up there.
You guys out there that support the Doom, that support the show, you're supporting independent media that is not bound by any corporate sponsors. We don't sell you. Most importantly, you're not the product. We don't sell you your time or your interest to other people. That's what everyone else does. They give you commercials. They sell you. You're the product, not the commercial or not whatever they're selling. You're the commercial to many other podcasts and shows. That's why we do it.
You are the inventory. You're the inventory.
You are. You are shopped.
Not here.
You are shopped. Your emails are shopped to people. They give you native advertising. They give you product placement. We don't do that. We want you to support the show, and I'm glad that Michael popped in, and so did Craig, to pick up the slack. We've got lots of support from everyone, and it's great to see some people that are not just the recurring, Sarah from Nebraska and others that have been holding up the show. So if you care about free media in the purest sense, when you support the show, you support that, and you support the model that we have decided to take upon ourselves. That way we can have complete honesty. There's no smoky room There's no guys with cigars and three-piece suits that will push on Charlie and I to sell their agenda or to not talk about subjects or to just ruin us. If you support us, we support you and your products in a lot of ways, because if you are somebody that wants to advertise on the show, it's very easy. You just make a minimal donation, and we'll talk about your product for a moment. We'll give you credit, and it's not so much us being able to support or to sell your product, but really it's just to congratulate you and give you accolades for supporting this show. So, and of course, the listeners out there will support you for supporting us. So that's the model. Go to Doomcast.com. On the right-hand side, there's a PayPal button over there, and it goes directly to Charlie McGrath's account.
Yeah!
And
maybe he tells Doug about it.
And maybe he tells me about it. Maybe he buys himself a fancy new Blue Yeti microphone with it. Who knows? Who knows where it could end up?
That's right. I'm still on the microphone hunt. I thought you were going to say a brand new shiny gun.
Well, that's what you want to buy with it, and that's what you would probably end up buying with it. But
no, man, I'm on the hunt for a Bluetooth microphone, like you said.
No, Blue Yeti, not Bluetooth. Don't do that.
Blue Yeti.
It's a Yeti microphone.
Yeti, like a Bigfoot.
Exactly like a Bigfoot.
All right, I'm on board. I'm gonna get a blue Bigfoot microphone, and we'll be rocking it.
I'm telling you.
That was a great sales pitch you gave there for supporting the program. I'm impressed.
The cognitive infiltration. We have to continue it. We have to get Doomcast between more ears.
I concur wholeheartedly, and I greatly appreciate everybody's support. And Craig Simpson, who supports us financially as well as through his sweat equity. But Michael G. and Papa, thank you very much. That was very, very kind of you and very, very generous of you. Keep them coming.
Indeed.
All right, we're into this. You better get me into what we're getting into.
All right, if Clay Aiken hasn't done it for you, how about Nigeria? Yesterday we saw this article saying the U.S. will be conducting surveillance over Nigeria, so they're sending drones. First they weren't going to send drones. Now they are sending drones. Upward of 250 girls have been abducted. Over the weekend, you had Michelle Obama with one of her favorite hashtags, and she's, we had the other Michelle Obama hashtag. I'm bossy. I'm the bitch y'all love to hate. Ban bossy because it's hurting our girls. And I was going to go off into a Jay-Z diatribe, but I won't. But anyway,
Jay-Z, who got his butt handed to him
by Beyonce's sister in an elevator.
How did I know that? That's sick that I even know that.
Because it's everywhere and you can't escape it.
I had our receptionist grabbed me when I walked into work today. Charlie, come here, Charlie. Check this out, Charlie. I'm like, what? Beyonce's sister slapping the snot out of Jay-Z. I just laughed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could have punched her in the face, so I guess there's a redeeming aspect to that.
He's a gentleman.
Gentleman and scholar.
That's right. And
an Aleister Crowley fan.
Ugh.
Do what thou wilt. You ever see him supporting that? And, of course, the Rockefeller Illuminati. Anyway, freaking Jay-Z. He's just a corporatist. That's what he is. He's a guy that, hangs out with Warren Buffett and has figured out a way to extract wealth and fame from
and
his
how
brethren.
to sleep with Beyonce.
If you have enough money, you can probably do that. Take a lot more than you and I are going to get from doing the Doomcast. But
I don't know about that.
Everything has its price, Charlie McGrath.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, anyway, the whole thing seemed very disingenuous. It smacked of false flag from the get-go. We know that Chevron and the oil execs and everybody has
Coney 2012.
Yeah, it's a big scam. And just one of the highlights, we had this hashtag #BringBackOurGirls. The viral photo that has gone all over Twitter, I guess, and the Facebooks of it is not actually a Nigerian girl. She's not actually abducted. She is a photograph from Amy Vitali. She has a Guinea-Bissau collection of photographs that she has been she got upset because she went to the internet. She saw
her picture.
Yeah, her photographs behind this banned bossy hashtag being sent around and being used by media organizations, and said, WTF, what's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. And I don't think that this maybe highlights a grander conspiracy, but it shows you that what you're seeing is absolutely not true. And maybe I'll say this. Maybe somebody said, this is a nice B stock photo. We'll use this as our pick Twitter or Twitter pick. And, before you know it, it goes super nova viral and everybody's using it. But nonetheless, I mean, just something to take away from this, that what you're seeing, the images that
well, do you believe the kidnapped girls is this a distraction, or do you think they're really kidnapped, or what?
That happens every day. The kids are being, Baku Ram is not a bunch of nice people, but it's very timely. I mean, they seem to have done this right before the cameras. They have an international microphone, a policy mic being shoved in their face, and this is good for them. This is, it seems like, I don't know that it's all been choreographed, but they needed something like this, and so the media deciding to make a big deal out of it and send drones to the area seems. Well, I mean, we know how
we need some Marines there too. We might need a little boots on the ground action.
The French banks are already there. They're already there, and they're ready to make some money. So I started looking around. I said, well, let's just look up Nigeria Wall Street. Let's just see what's happening in the world of Nigeria, because I just don't really think that the U.S. government gives a crap about Nigerian hostages. I just don't think
what did you find? What did you find, Doug Owen, in your search?
I found a developer that is set to build the next giant African city. African cities are running out of land, prompting a real estate developer boom. Africa's richest district on the beach, known as a haven for day laborers and beer tippers, is the site. And the developer is Gilbert Chagoury, founder of Nigeria's Chagoury Group. So I looked up Gilbert Chagoury just to see who he is and what he's all about. And
tell us about the Chagoury.
He is the sixth richest man in Africa. His estimated wealth is at $4.2 billion. So I looked into him a little bit, and he's got so many different ghosts chasing him. He is a really good friend of Bill Clinton. He gave $1 billion, not $1 million, $1 billion to the Clinton Global Initiative, and he also gave $5 million to get Bill Clinton elected. Pretty interesting. So this guy's got a lot of money tied up into the infrastructure here, and they've got so many plans on the ground. Chagoury was among the last of an all-powerful middlemen who served the heads of oil-rich African states, says Felipe Vassat, longtime editor of Africa Energy Intelligence, one of a series of influential energy industry insiders. So if you look at what he's been able to accomplish, he is the right-hand man of UNESCO and the United Nations. He made a lot of his money off of these UNESCO and United Nations contracts and contacts. So I started looking more into him, and lo and behold, in 2010, he was put on the no-fly list. Okay, and there was a big story about this from ABC News. No-fly terror list includes big financial backer of Clinton. So a Nigerian businessman who has been, this according to ABC News, a significant financial supporter of Bill Clinton was stopped from boarding a private jet last month in New Jersey after law enforcement authorities discovered that he'd been put on the U.S. terrorist watch list. Now, take a wild guess why he was put on the terrorist watch list.
I can't even fathom. This story is so intriguing. Please.
Okay.
The suspense is killing me.
So he gets on the plane, and immediately the TSA, Department of Homeland Security, grabbed this guy. And he's embarrassed. I mean, this is a big wig guy. I mean, he's a billionaire, sixth richest guy in Africa.
$4 billion.
Yeah, $4.2 billion. So come to find out, the reason that he is on the terrorist watch list is because his father and he are friends of the Nigerian banker whose son was Mutalib, the crotch bomber.
What?
So this guy is good buddies with the effing crotch bomber. Now,
I was thinking when you were saying that, I was thinking that you were going to come out with the revelation that he was caught on, that he was literally the guy, the mysterious guy in a business suit who put him onto the plane. You remember that?
But he probably knows that guy. He probably knows that guy, and he got caught up by some intelligence analysts that were looking at this group. Anyway, if you want to be able to get out of it, Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. It wasn't $1 billion. He did give $1 billion to the Chagoury group. Just look up this guy. His name is Gilbert Chagoury. He looks like a fat Benjamin Netanyahu. He is a globalist crony, and
is he white?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. He's part Lebanese, so I don't know. I mean,
kinda. He's
kind of Anglo. I guess it's the best way to.
He doesn't look African.
He looks Jewish. I bet you he is. I bet you his name at some point was Leibowitz. Anyway, he's a UNESCO UN guy. He is a huge developer, and he's just one of a few of Bill Clinton's close friends are good close friends of terrorists that just happen to be making lots of money in Nigeria, and all of a sudden now we have drones providing protection over Nigeria. So that's, like you said, the CIA's job is to provide cover for special corporate interest, and when need be, we'll run a Coney 2012, we'll run a kidnapped sex ring of girls in the nation in order to get some boots on the ground. Works every time. Yeah, I've got a couple other things, Cole. I don't know if you want to talk about the coal miners, but remember Patriot Corporation? They're the ones that released all of that horrible, nasty ash into the 108,000 gallons of slurry into the West Virginian, what is it, a river there, one of their big plants. Well, over the weekend, 2 guys died there. They're shutting it all down, and I think that they probably whacked these 2 guys. Where's my? They probably got a little, a little too loud, a little too vocal. Yeah, maybe a little too vocal. They're out of the way now. But this Patriot Coal Corporation, Pacha. Did they slip and hit their head on a brick? The mine that they were working in just happened to fail. But at the same time, it's odd because over in Turkey, I don't know if you heard about the 274 people that died in a mine over there, coal miners' death. People are up in arms. It just seemed I would categorize this under interesting timing for the coal industry, especially getting so much attention now due to this latest global warming report that we have 500 days. Charlie McGrath, I saw that. The French are telling us we got 500 and it's all over, Doug Owens. Talking about doom. I mean, this show isn't that doomy. Listen to the people at the UN. They'll scare the crap out of your kids. Oh, I thought you had a clip going. Oh, no. That was just me. Oh, I did want to wrap this up. I imagine you saw the gay Michale Sam kiss. Yes, I did. Yeah. Well, I saw a picture of it. I didn't see it live. Okay. Well, yeah, people talking about it. And, if he doesn't make the Rams roster, for those outside of the United States of America, they're just not up with the mainstream media. We now have a National Football League player that is openly gay. Thank God. And it is turned into, for one Miami Dolphin, Don Jones, who put the word horrible, quote unquote, into Twitter. It is turned into mandatory re-education camp. So I saw that, and of course, the thing is, well, you have to go to mandatory sensitivity training. You have to immediately apologize. Is that for real? Are they going to make him do that for putting horrible in a tweet? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. But it goes even beyond that. This is where it's going crazy, political correctness, insano. I don't even know what to call it. Oberlin College is now considering a set of rules in its athletic department, which would include mandatory transgender sensitivity training for all of its staff and coaches. Just listen to this. The guidelines for the inclusion and respectful treatment of intercollegiate transgender student athletes was developed for the college by the school's transgender Precipitation Advisory Committee. Campus Reform reported, quote, it's basically intended to be a sort of 101, according to Emily Clark. Now listen to this. Besides the training, the new policy would also require the athletic department documents replace, quote, FTM, female to male, and male or MTF, male to female, with a transgender student athlete who is designated as a female birth and is or is not taking medically prescribed hormone replacement therapy related to gender transition, and, quote, a gender student athlete who is designated as a male at birth is not taking medically prescribed hormonal replacement therapy related to gender transition. The new guidelines replace pronouns he, him, his, she, her, hers, with they, them, and theirs.
Hey,
I just wanted to play football today. I didn't really
want to enter into this nightmare, which, Doug, that is a commentary of the insane. That's what that is. It's a commentary of the insane. Who cares? Gay guy in the NFL, great. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Who cares, really?
Close the bedroom door. Or don't. I don't care. I can turn away. I'm an adult.
I don't have to look. I can close my eyes when I'm driving.
But if I say horrible on Twitter, that's one of the great things about Doomcast. We cannot be re-educated by our corporate sponsors. Nobody can force us. Nobody can force us.
Or the gays.
You out there, him, hers, he, she, we definitely appreciate the support. Please continue to support this show. Charlie McGrath, I'm going to
wrap it up. I'm going to say my name is Charlie McGrath. My website's wideawakenews.com. My co-founder is Doug Owen. His website is blacklistednews.com. If you have contributions to make, you can make them at doomcast.com. If you want to contribute to the program via videos or articles or whatever you think that might be interesting to be posted on Doomcast, you can contact Doug at blacklistednews.com. You can contact me at info@wideawakenews.com, subject at Doomcast, and we will put it up on Doomcast.com. We'll be back next week with Doomcast number 42.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Peace out, y'all. Go re-educate yourself, Owen.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.